Hey guys, so for week 6 we were supposed to talk about rapid changes. Um, so we're supposed to choose two distinct moods or movements in the art and discuss main visual signifiers in these events. What did they look like? Their philosophies, like why does the art look the way that it does? What was going on in the world, society, and culture in order to bring on these changes in the visual arts. So I chose Neoclassicism and Impressionism. So Neoclassicism, it in like 1789, which was the beginning of the French Revolution, French society was disrupted and transformed. Social structures and values changed, so like tastes changed as well. And I think his name is Jacques Louis David, maybe Louis, I don't know. He led the way in revolutions in art and politics. He was a painter that believed that the art should serve a beneficial social purpose in a time of social and governmental reform, and he pioneered the neoclassicism style. So why did neoclassicism look the way that it does? So the term neoclassicism, it refers to the emulation of classical Greek and Roman art. Much of the art was Roman because um, Roman the Rome represented a republican or non hereditary government. So what did the art look like? So what I mostly saw in the book was it used a lot of mixtures of like warm and cool colors, but mostly red and a lot of shading, which is what we see like in a lot of like Roman paintings. So, and kind of like snapshots of like Greek life that tell kind of like a story or a message. So I chose the painting on page 361. It's figure 21.1, and it's this one right here. So this painting is called The Oath of the Horati. The artist is Jacques Louis David. It was painted in 1784. The subject of this painting told the story of virtue and readiness to die for liberty, which this kind of ties back to what was going on in the world at that time, which was the French Revolution. So what is shown are three brothers pledging to take the swords their father offers them in order to defend Rome. The painting gives revolutionary leaders an inspiring image of themselves rooted in history. So the message of this painting is to take courage, and your cause is a noble one, and it has inspired heroes of the past. So it's basically like kind of encouraging. So for Impressionism, a little fun fact. So the main guy of Impressionism, there's like a group of them, but the main guy was named, his last name was Monet, and him and his colleagues were dubbed Impressionists by a critic who objected to the sketchy quality of their paintings. Though the critic meant it in a derogatory way, the artist adopted the term as a fitting description of their work, which worked out for them. So what was going on in the world and society and culture to bring these changes? So in 1874, a group of painters, which is Monet and his colleagues, they had been denied the right to show their art at I'm guessing it's the Salon of 1873. So they decided to organize their own independent exhibit of their work instead. So these artists were opposing academic doctrines and romantic ideals instead turned to the portrayal of contemporary life. So what did they look like? So what did the art look like? So it was like mainly landscapes and ordinary scenes painted outdoors, in varied atmospheric conditions, seasons, and times of the day were the main subjects. Mixtures of warm and cool colors, but mostly cool colors with a lot of blue mixtures. So my main example for this is on page 377, and it's figure 2120, and it's this one right here. So a little background on that is, lost my place. So this is a painting by Claude Monet, which is one of the main guys who started the Impressionism group. The name of the artwork is the Arrival of the Normandy Train, and it was painted in 1877. Claude Monet took his easel to the Saint Lazare railroad station in Paris and painted a series of works in the train shed, and one of them was came to be the painting I just showed you. Rather than focusing on the human arrival and departure, he was fascinated by the play of light, lost my place. Light on the steam of the locomotives and the clouds showing through the glass roof. So that kind of like ties back to where like he's not focusing on the human factor, he's focusing on the environment itself. So why did it look the way that it does? Or why does it look the way that it does? From the direct observation and from studies in physics, the Impressionists learned that we see light as a complex of reflections received by the eye and reassembled by the mind during the process of perception. Therefore, they use small dabs of color that appear merely as separate strokes of paint when seen close up, yet become lively depictions of subjects when seen at a distance. Monet often applied strokes of pure color placed next to each other rather than colors pre-mixed or blended on the palette, and the effect was startling to the eye accustomed to the muted, continuous tones of academic painting. So it really worked out for him. And the paintings are really beautiful, and there's a lot of light. There's not that much shading as there is in the neoclassicism, but they're really good depictions because it's not like what you think you see. It's like you go there and you draw or you paint like exactly what is in front of you.